What up, snitches? I'm the Animaniac, and I return to Pikelet. Yes, that's what that town is called. You can thank Mukpuddy for that. To see if this shop has gotten any better, I'm back talking about Jandal Burn. The series about two slackers working at a minimum wage job getting into hijinks. This season, a new business has moved in across the street that threatens the humble little Jandal shop. Before I get into this year I plan on uploading to this channel once every 2 weeks. I noticed that a lot of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed to the channel. If you guys really enjoy these videos and want to be the first to know when a new one will be up, be sure to ring that bell after you subscribe. My next goal is 250 subscribers, and only you can help me get there. And if you want to see my future reviews early, subscribe to me on Rumble. Link is in the description and pinned comment below. My review of the first season can be summed up best with this clip. So stupid, it's so stupid, it's so stupid, it's so stupid! Now that 2 years have passed, allow me to better give you my thoughts on that initial season. My first slight against this show was that it felt like a regular show knockoff, and by that point those haven't worked out if Disney's Pickle and Peanut and Nickelodeon's Breadwinners weren't proof of that. There was our main characters being two slackers in their 20s working at a minimum wage job who do anything but that. There were even episodes that felt like they were lifted from regular show. A relative of one of the main characters who's more beloved than them comes for a visit, but they hold a grudge against them for some reason. Our main characters have trouble with a local graffiti artist, and Kevin wins a pin for getting the high score in an arcade game. Outside of that, it has problems of its own. Episodes like Milk and Corn Freaks and Prank Day have premises that are easy to do well when you take the direction that works. But they don't go there. Milk and Corn Freaks has Puku and Kevin still try to live their lives around a bowl of cereal that neither one of them refuse to clean up or admit ownership. And the pivotal point in Prank Day had an underwhelming execution.
You potty pooper?
Episodes like 3-Dom, The Back Room, and Throne of Games feel like they're just farting around aimlessly until it stops. The Back Room is a scary episode that amounted to nothing. 3-Dom ends with Puku and Kevin getting a figurative slap on the wrist for destroying Tony's 3D printer to help him produce new interesting jandals for his business. And Throne of Games had the pieces to be a decently entertaining affair. I guess this can be classified as one where it doesn't go for what works as well. And just when it gets its act together with troll-lol and very commercial, it ends with a joke going unfinished. When I saw it, I thought it was one of the worst cartoons Mukpuddy had made, and I feel bad for everyone who took part in it. I think it's a waste of time, talent, and government funding. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention that? The TV shows that are made in New Zealand are funded by the organization New Zealand On Air, and the people who make the show have to pitch their ideas to them, and if they like it, they'll give a certain amount of money to make them. You guys can pause this video so you can sit with that bit of info. To those who are still listening, let's continue on to Season 2. So what's new this season? Well, a new character that was introduced last season moves her business across the street from Jandal Burn. This is Tiptoe Joan. She first appeared in the Season 1 finale, very commercial, rapping in a commercial for her shoe store chain. I'll take the Snoop Dogg remix of Riders on the Storm over this any day. When she comes to town with her store, she's able to outsmart Puku and Kevin, though that's not a massive feat. There are a few moments Becky Kuek couldn't save, but it wasn't enough to detract from her upending their plans for sabotage. Now guess how much time they devote to this story? 2 episodes. The premiere and the finale. And they do mention it in passing when Tony teaches Kevin how to drive the delivery car, and when Tony's computer gets a virus. This isn't the first time Mukpuddy have started a story for a season only to immediately put it on the back burner only to make occasional references to it until the end. They did it first in Season 2 of The Barefoot Bandits. The first part is that the story is a retread of the episode Mr. Sugarthumb, where a businessman is revealed to have shady practices. For Mr. Sugarthumb, it's that he makes hamburgers out of cockroaches. And for Joan, it's that her shoes fall apart after being exposed to water for a few seconds. And how they go about this is similar to how the bandits handled Tane's mother being pregnant with his baby sister. They devote an episode to Tane's feelings about his future sibling in the Blood Bus, the episode that had Matt Gibb and Richard O'Brien. Once his feeling of being ignored by his parents disappear when they reassure him they still love him at the end of it, it's then put in the background for the rest of the season, only to be occasionally referenced until the birth happens. And after Joan bans Puku and Kevin from her shoe store, Puku suggests they ignore her in the hope it'll sort itself out. Oh, I see they also reused Dennis Gobb's constant dismissal throughout Season 2 as well. The problem here is, if Tiptoe Joan manages to take away what customers Jandal Burn has left, it'll die out, and Tony will have to close down, and Puku and Kevin will be out of a job if that happens. To use a clip from another show to repeat a point I made in a recent video,
but if you don't care, why should I?
So until Joan is exposed for making shoes that fall apart in a video that gets thousands of views online for Puku and Kevin, by the way, that's the goal for these two. Internet fame. Something that's just as hard to obtain and maintain as traditional fame, but you get comparative peanuts for selling your soul. We're now back to the same song and dance. And since our stars couldn't care less about their job security or their future, Puku and Kevin spend their time this season going feral inside the Jandal shop in lockdown, getting into water fights in an attempt to cause drama in the comment section of one of their videos, except wouldn't that count as harassment that could get their channel deleted, and getting high on one-year-old cheese. Yes, that happens this season. That episode has the show's better visuals, including a CG giant, and in Puku's case this season, holding back Kevin from reaching his full potential. Episode 8 of this season I found to be irresponsible, on top of everything else that's wrong with it. Gavin is the resident weirdo possum who just does weird and random things in every episode he's in and just leaves. I wish I could say more about him, but that's it. Since his antics don't do much, I'm now indifferent to him. Sherry is one of Puku and Kevin's friends and an overly ambitious film student when we first meet her. The only joke they make about it is that she shows them a 4-hour-long movie she made. It wasn't funny, and I think after that they relegated her to occasional straight woman and voice of reason for Puku and Kevin and their antics. It's like they couldn't mine any more material from that trait. She's barely used in this season as well. Tony is Puku and Kevin's boss at Jandal Burn. They're very easily fooled and incompetent at running a business. Boss. I mean, he hired Puku and Kevin and doesn't have the good sense to fire them yet. And the ways he's incompetent at running his business are his lack of understanding of computers. In Very Commercial, he yells at one to make it turn on, and doesn't understand what makes a video viral, or the concept of viral marketing in general, or delegating responsibilities to the employee who's qualified and drive me crazy. Tony is the character they use to make out-of-touch adult jokes, despite living in an age where even someone his age should know how to use a computer, and to make Puku and Kevin look good next to. It didn't work. Now the humor ain't all that bad. There were times where characters like the computer repair guy, especially with what he thinks are his rat helpers, and of course there's Ryan Cooper beatboxing over the end credits. If you want to ensure your audience comes away from the show happy, that's a good way to do it. Because the stuff that didn't work this time around were things like awkward rambling. Here is a gem from the first episode of this season. And what else did you learn from the show that you watched last night that we're talking about now? Well, do you know bats? Yeah, I know bats. Well, they're not blind. What about the whole blind as a bat thing? Turns out being blind as a bat isn't all that blind, because bats aren't blind. Then there's a Puku and Kevin's conversational facts jingle. This routine was boring and doesn't tie into the episode in any way. And anything else outside of those felt like nothing. And unlike the first season, I couldn't spot the ones that needed improving to work. There are sprinkles of good things. Home Baloney, The Great Water War, Thursday Night Fever, and Tiptoe Joan. And there was potential in the story introduced to be better than the last time they did one like this. But they chose instead to go with their usual meandering nonsense. And the humor this time around is just boring, stupid, and unfunny. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment your own thoughts on the show below if you've seen it, And if you guys want to stay updated on future videos, be sure to follow me on Getter, Facebook, Tumblr, and DeviantArt. The links are in the description. And if you want to be the first to know when a new video will be up, ring that bell after you subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
You lazy, no-good slackers drive me nuts! Can't you just listen to me once in your worthless life? Because if you did, you'd see I'm trying to teach you some simple responsibility, some pride in doing a job well done. But you wouldn't know a job well done if you paid someone to do it for you. And even then, you'd screw it all up on the account that you can't even follow the simplest of instructions, worrying more about looking cool than doing your job.